Hello, and welcome to the Diaries of Ordinary People, the podcast that brings you raw, unfiltered, and honest stories from everyday experiences. I'm your host, Ash, and each episode we dive into personal diaries and journals to uncover the heartfelt moments and challenges that connect us all. So, whether you're commuting, taking a break, or just winding down, join us as we explore real and authentic lives. This is the Diaries of Ordinary People. Hi Dan, how are you?
I am good. I'm not too bad, actually.
It's nice to have you here. I think I've known you for so long, but I spoke to Jamie in July and we're now in September, and I feel that the gap should have been a lot closer. I spoke to Paul as well.
Oh, Paul. I spoke to Paul the other day, actually. Yeah. Paul kind of shit on my... Can I swear?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just keep it to PG.
No, do you need.
He shit on my whole idea of my age. So, Paul, I just turned 31 and I was like, okay, I'm still feeling quite young. I'm still acting young. I definitely look young, so I'm like, it doesn't matter. And then Paul was like, it's weird that we've all turned out to be like such good and kind men. And it was the first time I ever realised that young men was not in a sentence. I was just like, at what age does somebody stop being a young man and just become a man? Like, what's the... Because, I mean, I've been called a young man my entire... Well, pretty much since, your balls drop, young man, Mm-hmm. And now it's like, I'm 31, it's like, man. And... yeah, I don't know if I was quite ready for that, to be fair. So fuck Paul. Yeah. I'll
send him that little clip as well. Yeah. What have your past 12 months been like?
Oh fuck, that's... They've been weird, actually. It's been a complete... I would say a transformative year. That is what I would describe it as. I guess I started at the beginning of the year. I wasn't doing anything that I particularly enjoyed. I was working long ass night shifts, lots of hours, a constant 12 and a half hour, 13-hour shifts. Not doing anything that I enjoyed, and had a chat with Ruby, being a year ago I had a chat. It's just over a year now, but a year ago with Ruby I had a chat, and I was like, yo, I'm only going to just do things that I enjoy. And I was like, within 2 years, I'm going to aim to let all of my income come from things that I just enjoy, whether that be dance, acrobatics, whatever else. And so I set out on that quest a year ago. And within 6 months I was doing it. So I mean, I did completely change how I was functioning, how my life was going in the 6 months of the 12. And then I went from doing nothing to flying around the world to teach. So it's I'd say it's been a good 12 months. Yeah. I think of all of the 12 months of my life, I'd say I've been the most productive in the last 12. So, yeah, it's been good. It's been really good, actually.
How did you get from not traveling the world and then in 6 months to kind of flying to?
Oh man,
It's quite a quick turnaround.
It is. I'm a little sick, I think, as a human being. When I commit to things, I'm not saying I commit. Firstly, I need to address, one thing, luck. Let's not take luck out of the equation, because I feel there's an element of luck to that. But also I feel you make your own luck. And some people make luck better than others, I guess. And if you're just being I'm going to do this thing and not really committing to it, then you're probably never going to do it. But I was what I said to myself was, I am going to have a dance empire, which sounds dumb, and it didn't really mean anything. It wasn't I wanted to monopolize dance. That's not what my goal was. It was just that I wanted to be in everyone's faces, I wanted to be out there. I wanted to be on cereal boxes, I wanted not... I wanted to be out there in everyone's faces. I wanted everybody to know that I was doing something. So I just did that. And for 4 or 5 months, every day, hours of the day, I was just grinding, being like, I'm in someone's face, I'm doing this. I'm speaking to somebody I don't know. I'm reaching out to different companies. I'm like, I'm here, and I was just trying to be the loudest person in the room. And when I say I was doing this, like, early hours in the morning, I'd wake up and I'd be on like Instagram, TikTok, whatever, reaching out to loads of different people. And I'd do it for like maybe like 2 hours at the beginning of my day. And then every time I picked up my phone throughout the day, I would also do that, to the point where Instagram thought I was a bot for a bit. Like, I was like, I'm not a bot. I assure you I'm not a bot. I'm just like on this. And yeah, and it worked, I guess. It worked out pretty well. I mean, I already, like, I've trained in something for a long time at this point, and I've got a lot of relevant experience to the stuff that I do now. For people listening to this, so I essentially teach people cartwheels, and that takes me everywhere now, all around the UK, and it's starting to take me all over the world, which is cool. But I already had that experience. I performed for years. I've got a really good CV. I've taught for years. So it was just a case of going, I'm going to put that out there. So it's not like I just started with nothing. I already had like a wealth of information that I could share. Mm. And then I just was like, well, I need to do that, and just grafted.
Where did that wealth come from? That wealth of knowledge, wealth of experience?
I didn't really have anything when I started. When I was like 15, 16, I had like nothing. I didn't really do it. No, actually 15, I didn't really do anything. And then just from that time really, I was like homeless. I had one of the benefits to being like homeless and having nothing to do is that you have a lot of time, like so much time. And I'm a fast learner anyway. Like I've always, I mean, in terms of like physical stuff with your body, I've always been really quick on the uptick. I'm a monkey see, monkey do person, you know, it doesn't take me long to get things, which is great. But I just kept training the entire time, like from 16 till 25. I don't think I probably missed a day training, like maybe a day or two here or there, but like I was training a lot all of the time. There was definitely periods maybe where I was like, I'm doing things less now, but I was always doing something. So yeah, like even when I was like 19, I worked in a nightclub, and I'd finish at like 4 a.m. and then I would train after in Castle Gardens, in the centre of Swansea, where all the drunk people are, and I'd just be there doing flips. Like that, I was training a lot all of the time. So, and just from the nature of what I do, especially when I was doing it, this is back in, I mean, 2009 onwards probably. There's not many. There isn't many people that did what I did. There still isn't that many people actually, but I mean, there's more now. Competition's more, I guess, but I mean, I've got years of experience, which is great at this point. But I got lots of opportunities for doing something different, essentially, at a time where it wasn't common. So I started at the right time. So I guess I was lucky there as well. But just absolute graft, mate, for forever. That is the answer to that question, really.
And what kind of made you start doing that stuff? I don't actually know.
Literal boredom. I had nothing else to do. I was in this hotel called the Oyster Catcher. Actually, no, I started just before that, to be fair. But I think it was then where I had the most time. And I was living in this B&B. And there was this guy, Tony, that owned the B&B. Great guy, by the way. If you're ever in Swansea, check that out. If they're still there, actually. Because I had no money. I had no nothing. I was like 16. I didn't have a job. I didn't have a place to live. I was in a B&B and surviving off 50p sausage rolls. 50p, like 8 packs of sausage rolls, because that's what they used to be at the time.
And that's where the love comes from.
Yeah. I don't eat pastry anymore, though. I've actually laid off eating pastry because I keep getting fat. Yeah, I was living off that, and Tony would make me sandwiches throughout the day, like eggs and like sausage sandwiches, just like grilled, like, and I was like, yo, nice one, Tony. He looked after me a treat. But I had like so much time, and opposite the road I was staying in is the beach and the sand, and sand is really, if you think about it, just a crash mat. So It's literally, it's a Parvo's crash mat.
Good
and
logic.
I was a Parvo. I was definitely in that poverty bracket. I'm still in that poverty bracket. Let's not even pretend. But it is a crash mat. In Swansea's case, it's like a 6 mile crash mat. So I would just yeet myself off a wall repeatedly until I learned something new. And that's, you got the wall there, right?
Yeah.
And you know it changes height.
I do. I've fallen off of it.
You do. At some points it'd be like 15 foot, and that's a good height to flip off. But I mean, at the same time, some points it'd be like 4, and that's a good height to flip off. Sometimes it'd be like a cube. So it was a good way to just send new tricks in a relatively safe way. And yeah, it's caught the bug. That was it.
I always thought you stumbled into like Forest Fach gym or something one day and were like, oh yeah, I'll learn how to cartwheel.
No. So I didn't.
Yeah, how did you end up tricking and stuff?
Yeah, man. So I didn't go to the gym for like a year. My first year of training, first maybe 2 years of training, I didn't go to the gym at all.
Just sand.
Literally just sand, wood chippings, concrete, lots of concrete. Yeah, sand was a lot, but it was mainly wood chippings or like them children's parks with the rubber floors.
Yep.
Yeah. So them and just wood chippings, which was great. But no, I did kind of stumble into it actually. So we were in Castle Gardens. Well, I came down to Castle Gardens one day, and Jamie was doing his old dancing, and he wanted to learn the backflip, and I was like, yo, I have no interest in doing a backflip. I was like, that. He was just like, oh, I'll give it a bash. I was like, I don't want to travel backwards. I don't want to do this, like, at all. I was like, I said a front flip, it can't be that hard, surely. And I had like flip-flops on, like actual flip-flops, and just started sending like punch fronts, and was like, yeah, let's give it a crack. And I had shit so many times, but I was like, it's definitely achievable. It's not that hard. And so I was like, okay, something to consider. And then I went home and I thought about it. I was like, yeah, this is quite fun. So I'm going to keep sending dumb fun flips and flip-flops. I was like punching holes into the floor, like heel deep in the ground. And then the whole free running stuff was going around then. And I randomly bumped into Da, who's for people who don't know, is a friend of mine and Ash's, like an old friend. And they were like free runners in Swansea. They were good for the time, for sure. I mean, like there wouldn't be anything like special today, like, but for the time, like, they were definitely above average, I'd say, for like what people were doing. And I remember going up to him, and I'd seen online there was a B twist, and I was like, yo, man, can you just show me how to B twist? And he was like, nah, you're gonna kill yourself. Like, he was like, you've never done anything, like, why are you gonna do that? And I was just like, I took that as like a personal challenge. I was like, fuck you and fuck all of you. So that's what actually kind of started me on the venture, was almost a big fuck you to people telling me not to do things. And then I kind of went to the beach, and that's how that all stemmed. So I guess it kind of started that. Also, me and Diane, they're friends about 6 months later, because I learned everything that he said I shouldn't learn. And by that point, he was like, yo, this kid's actually pretty good at something. So we trained together a lot, which is good. But yeah, that's how I got into it. And the gym, I tried looking for Forest Fach gym, and you got to understand, this is the time where Google Maps was just not a thing, right?
It did not exist.
Yeah, it didn't. So like, I was just like, I'm gonna go find this gym, and I'd wandered roughly in the direction of Forest Fach gym and could not find it, and was like, yo, I know it exists, but who the fuck knows where? So I didn't find it, and
it was hidden quite well.
Literally in the dumbest place, but they always are. It's just in like a warehouse in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, no, I went to West Street Gym first, because I was with Bays, the people that put me in the housing. They were like, yo, so you want to do gymnastics and stuff? And I was like, well, no, I want to do flips, but I mean, if gymnastics is the way to do that, and you're willing to pay for me to do it, then sound. So they wanted me to get my teaching qualification in gymnastics, so they paid for me to go to a gymnastics centre. They reached out to who used to be the head coach of West Street. I don't know if he's definitely not, Paul Carter, big up Paul Carter, and was like, yo, we got some we got some youths here that really have nothing going for them. Do you want to take them in?
Youths.
Yeah, we got some youths here that don't do anything. And Paul was like, yeah, I want to set up an adult class for a while. So he took us in and was like, yeah, let's do some stuff. And it was hilarious. The first session with Paul, like, by this point I've been training on sand. I was starting to throw doubles on sand, like thinking, like, I was so used to just smashing into the ground at this point that I rocked up to the gym for the first time and Paul was there and he tried setting up this like structured adult class. So when West Street first started, it was like he tried structure and then he met me and Jamie and that lasted for like literally half the session. He was like, we'll do some of this, we'll do some of that, and then we got up to the track and we just sending double fronts and he's just like, what? Like, what? You can try this? I'm like, yo, let's just go there. And like that's how that started, and they paid for me to do my coaching stuff. And Paul or Shelley even was I don't actually remember, it was Paul or Shelley, but either of them were my mentor for my coaching qualifications, and I learned to coach with them, which was really cool actually. But yeah, that's where I found the gym. Then I went to Forest Park Gym, and then so
I'm actually quite intrigued. I don't think I know this answer. How did you meet Jamie?
School. Yeah, me and Jamie went to school together.
Ah.
So I moved to Dylan Thomas Community School, which is the absolute worst school, by the way. Shithole. Like, I just don't understand why some schools are funded, and that's one of them. But irrelevant of that, I got sent there in like year 10 from my old school, and then Jamie moved down at like the same year. We didn't really speak when we were in school. Like, we kind of knew each other, but like we just like passing ships, really. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, hey, you're a person. Hey, you're a person. That was it. And then Jamie came from like an all boys school.
Yeah.
He was a fucking stamp collector.
Yeah, that's he's telling me.
Yeah, like the juxtaposition between
kind of like
Jamie
what
of
he
today
says versus what we know.
The Jamie I met, good Christ alive. Like, I don't know what I thought Jamie was going to be doing, but it wasn't that, like, at all. Such a turnaround. It was, yeah, it was like watching a kid in the candy shop, you know. It was like, it was just so different. But yeah, I met Jamie in school. That's how that kind of happened. And we didn't see each other until months after we left school, and he randomly just turned up at my house one day. And was like, yo, you're doing some flip things. Do you want to do some stuff? And I was like, yeah. And that's how we ended up being friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you end up kind of living with him? Because I know you guys were both kind of on like the homeless.
Yeah.
Kind of dottering around that kind of place.
So, he was homeless before I was. So he was, if I remember properly, he was in supported lodgings, which is like, so they put me in a B&B. I think they maybe did with him too. I don't particularly remember, but he was in supported lodge and somebody was looking after him essentially. It was like, you pay them a little bit of rent. It's almost like, it's not like a foster home, but like, they're just there to support you. You're in like someone's house essentially. I think that's what happened anyway. But I was having some issues at home anyway, and I was gonna get kicked out shortly. So I ended up getting kicked out, and we were staying in. I'm trying to think of the years. I was spending most of my time in a shed. Like, me and Jamie, like, pretty much lived in a shed together for a while. We were just like, yo, it's better than me being in my house. And I think Jamie left supported lodgings. Maybe I'm not sure. He ended up living with this family again. I mean, that was a wild experience. But they did dance and stuff, and I think that's how that came about. I'm not entirely sure, but anyway, I ended up living in their shed with Jamie. And I say shed. It was a shed. It was more like a chalet. It had heated flooring. You know what I mean? I'm not. I mean, it was still like a shed, but like it had heat. Well, I say heated flooring. It had one spot on the floor that would get really hot.
So you mean a heated tile?
Heated laminate. No, heated wooden flooring. It was like a few sections of wood. Like, I've like laid on it a few times, and I'd wake up and be like, "Yo, why is my stomach burning?" It's just like one hot patch. But no, we lived in this shed, and then that was like temporary. Then we didn't live together for most of that. We moved in together when we were about 18, I think. But so it was like 2 years of living in different places. Then I got my own like supported flat. Oh no, I lived in a hostel for a bit. Swansea Fire, big up. Again, not a place you want to be. Then I moved into like supported lodges in my own flat, and Jamie just came to live there with me most of the time. Me and Jamie shared a bed. Like, I shared a bed with a man for like 2 years. If you think about it, like, more or less. That's pretty much how that worked. And then we eventually we rented rooms from this woman we knew, or Jamie was seeing at the time. But yeah, that's pretty much how that came into being. And then we just lived together since. But with all the other boys as well, because everyone just kept dipping in and out.
Yeah,
it was like Dampy, your Chaos, man, all of us, just dipping.
I was there for a period of time.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. It was literally just, there pretty much.
What's your kind of your earliest memory? I'm actually really intrigued about your kind of...
My earliest memory.
Yeah, I'm genuinely really intrigued about it.
What, of life?
Yeah.
I was 18 months old. It's my earliest memory.
You are precise on that timing.
I am very precise. You ready for the trauma dump? When actually, I don't particularly think it's traumatic. I remember the memory as being quite funny, but actually thinking about it as an adult, probably traumatic. So my dad has bipolar.
Okay.
Well, here we go with this. And he was diagnosed with... He like when he was diagnosed with like mental health issues, this wasn't when... Let's just say mental health was the peak of its awareness in the UK, and bipolar was still like called like manic depressive disorder. So nobody really knew what to do with him. He was like 21 doing his own thing. Essentially, decided to kill himself. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to question the man's. He's still alive. I'm not going to question. He's also doing well, just to be clear. But then he was not doing so well. I don't hold it against him, to be clear. But he slit his wrist. This is my first memory. And he was holding me and Tino on the stairs. And the police obviously were involved because attempted suicide. And the police were battering through the door. And I was on my dad's lap. And so was my sister. Blood everywhere. Like, I'm fairly sure my first memory. I could be fabricating somewhere, but this is pretty much the gist of it. And then the police came in through the door. And he essentially run out of the door, past the police, and literally just like hopped this 6-foot fence like it was nothing, and just run off into the farmer's fields. First memory.
Wow.
Oh, pretty cool. I'm still impressed that he just cleared a 6-foot fence. My memory is he cleared a 6-foot fence. So I think my mother filled in some blanks either side, and maybe I'm remembering stuff that I don't particularly remember, but I do very clearly remember him kind of just hurdle this 6-foot fence. And I'm like, for a guy that's kind of dying at this point, fucking wild. Like, absolutely wild.
Yeah, I mean, adrenaline's a powerful thing, but...
Yeah, but when you've lost like 2 litres of blood, and you try to clear a 6-foot fence, by Christ alive, I couldn't do that today. I mean, I could run and jump it, probably, but like, I'm a hit fucking hard the other side, you know what I mean? I'm not going to hurdle that. But he was just like Mario punching through one of them bricks. It was just ding over the fence and straight into the fields. Like, gone. So, yeah.
Wow. Have you seen him since?
My dad, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I seen him, when was it? My sister's wedding.
Okay.
I like my dad. Genuinely get on with my father really well. I don't blame my father for not being present or not being around, because, to be honest, probably a better thing for me and my sister. Also, like, I can't blame him for being mentally unwell. I can't. You know, like, I literally can't be like, you weren't there because you decided you want to go and smoke crack. Like, no, he wasn't there because, 1, my mother's a dickhead, and 2, mentally unwell for a lot of it. So him being around, he was in and out of mental institutions for like most of my childhood. So him being around, 1, would have been worse for us, and 2, I mean, he was sorting the shit out, and now he's a functional member of society. So, I mean, I gotta give it to him. Like, he's a carer. Now he's caring for... I mean, I'm not going to talk about his life choices. I don't particularly care, but he's a carer now. He's got a kid. He's doing good, and he's functioning well. So, like, full circle. I respect my dad. I genuinely do. I mean, yeah, he's had a hard life himself, so I can't be like... I can't say anything bad about him, really. I just can't. He's always been really supportive of me. Genuinely my biggest fan. So, I mean, that's all you can ask for, really. Is he as present as he could have been? No. And I think in the context of him and my life, is probably a good thing. So, yeah. No, I like my dad. He's good. But wild first memory.
How do you think that... I mean, it's quite a lot to even think, like, kind of even to think about, let alone to be in. But how do you think that memory has kind of affected you today and growing up?
I don't think it has, to be fair.
Really?
Yeah, no, really. I think, like, I'm not going to be like, fucking, I'm void of trauma. Everyone has trauma, but I don't necessarily view that as traumatic. That's my dad's trauma, that's not mine. You know? Like, I don't know. He jumped over a fence. Maybe we were covered in blood.
I feel like that's what you're taking away from.
Yeah, like I mean, he was trying to kill himself, but I mean, like, let's be fucking real here. If I lived with my mother, I would have done the same thing. Okay, I'm joking. Maybe not the same way, but like, she's fucking wild, and like that would drive any man.
She is wild, yeah.
To consider what my father did. So like, I can't sit here and be like, oh no, I'm traumatized from me. I can't. She's a difficult woman, and he was having a difficult time. And the reality is, like, he did what he did, and I don't think he has any bearing on me today. I don't think about it. It's not that I'm like repressing it because I'm talking about it. Like, I don't particularly care. It just doesn't bother me. It doesn't matter.
What passions do you still have from when you were really younger?
None.
Really?
Zero. Absolutely zero.
So what did you have when you were younger?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I fucking hated everything. Absolutely everything.
When did that change?
I don't know. I don't know if it really did. I honestly don't know if it really did. I'm still such a grumpy cunt. And I think largely a negative person. I just do think I'm negative. And I think that's probably the one thing from my childhood I do have. I think I'm a negative person. Do I do things for positive
reasons? Yeah,
reasons, absolutely. And I'm not saying like I'm not like a fucking demento. I don't suck all of the joy out of the room. But like, largely I don't have many passions, I think. I mean, there's things that I'm passionate about. There's things that I love, for sure. People that I love, for sure. But I think on a large scale, I think I'm a negative thing. And I think that's okay. I'm not sad about that either. I'm not being like, oh, pity me, I'm negative. That's not what I'm going for you. I think I'm just a negative person, and that is okay.
Do you know it? Has it come from anywhere, or just...
I don't know, man. I think if you've had the life I've had, I think to get out the other side and, one, be alive, two, not be an absolute drug addict, just flat out on the heroin. I think I've turned out okay. I think the fact that I can sit here and be like, I'm a little bit negative is okay. I think that is the best outcome. I think that is a complete positive for me. Being as negative as I am is a 100% positive. So, yeah. But no, as a child, I fucking hated everything. I didn't like anything. I mean, maybe I did. I don't know. I don't particularly remember a lot of my childhood. There's a lot I do remember, but there's a lot I don't remember. It's kind of like a fugue state of nothing. But I mean, most of it is just hating things. And to be fair, that makes sense. My childhood was shit. So the fact a child would hate things makes complete sense in the context of my life. Not saying that I was born a hateful, spiteful person. That's not it.
You're not Satan 2.0.
Yeah, no, not what I'm saying at all. I mean, like, I was a great kid in so many aspects, but at the same time, I fucking hated everything. I hated life. I hated the people in my life. I hated decisions that were being made for me that I couldn't change. I hated being told what to do as a subsequent... that came from that. I didn't respect anyone or anything. There was... I didn't enjoy things. I didn't... Skating. Roller skating is the only thing I think I enjoyed in my childhood. And I still do it now. I still love my skates. Other than that, I cannot think of a single thing. Not one.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's really interesting. That's like proper...
Yeah.
Interesting. So what are your core values then?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. They change a lot, so I don't think it matters. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't particularly... I'm going to say I don't have any, but everyone has some. It's not something I necessarily think about, to be honest. Just try not to be a cunt. Like, I think that's the that's the goal. I think for me,
That's the goal.
like that is the goal. Try to be the least cunty version of myself. You know.
Well, and I think a subsequent question is then, do you see yourself as a cunt? Do you think you are, in like general?
I think I have the potential to be, and I think I'm not great in social situations. I don't think I'm inherently a bad person. That's not what I'm saying, but I often can't read a room. I don't understand how people are, and trying to navigate that a lot might make me seem like a dickhead. And I'm never trying to be a dickhead. I'm never trying to be hurtful, but sometimes I just am. And that is not, like, I try not to be. Like, I always try not to be, and I always try to be genuinely nice to people. Or, like, if I'm not necessarily nice, then I'm trying not to speak to someone. You know what I mean? It's like either, like, say something nice or nothing at all kind of thing. That's kind of what I try to aim to do, but it doesn't always work like that. So, yeah, no, I don't think I'm a bad person. I just don't think... I don't think I'm good at being a person. I think that is the issue.
Struggle socially kind of vibe.
Any of it. All of it. I think just on a normal day-to-day thing, I'm not particularly good at anything. Like, I'm really good at lots of things. But, like, actually just being a human being and just fucking functioning and going around and doing things, I don't think I'm necessarily great at it. Yeah. But I can cartwheel.
Being able to cartwheel is very useful.
Swings and roundabouts.
Have you ever used your skills to, like, rebuttal someone's, like, insults? Because I have.
No, I did kind of assist a guy breaking his nose once, though. I did. And that was only because he offended me. Like, I don't get offended that easy, but I was training and he was like, yo, this is fucking easy. And I was like, is it easy though? And he was like, yeah, it's easy. And I was like, well, let's take a backflip, for example. I was like, I learned a backflip in 3 tries. 3 tries is all it took me. So I was like, if it's that easy, you should be able to do it in less than 3 tries. And he was like, yeah, okay then. Like, the confidence on this man. I appreciate his effort, by the way, because, like, I mean, that confidence. I mean, I'm glad I humbled that confidence as well, because nobody needs that confidence. But he was like, yeah, I can do this. And I've still got the video. Actually, I still have the video of that, which is hilarious. But he was like, yeah, I can do it. So I supported him for 3 tries. I was like, I'll give you 3 tries. I will support you 3 times to make sure you don't die. But on the 4th time, you were doing it on your own, like, flat out. And he was like, yeah, sure. So I supported him 3 times, and I just knew this man had all of the confidence, but zero athletic ability. Like, I've supported, like, 4-year-olds. I've taught 4-year-olds with genuinely more athletic ability than this grown adult man. And he was like, yeah, I got it. He was sober as well, just to be clear. I didn't do this to a drunk person. Also, I didn't really do anything to him. He did it to himself. But the first time, fair play, he went for it, just scorpion so hard, man. Like, his feet hit the floor, his nose was on the floor at the same time, but he was in like a human pretzel and just busted his nose straight up. And I was like, well, it's not easy, is it? That's the only time I've done anything that's like a little bit, yeah.
Okay, so kind of following on from that, you said it's the only time you've done something you feel a bit like iffy on. Do you have any big regrets?
Oh no, I don't feel iffy on that at all. To be clear, if I could go back and do that, I would fucking do it again in a heartbeat. My God, that man was an idiot. I'm sorry he was. And, like, to be honest, I hope that lesson has carried on with him.
He's learned from it.
I really hope that it's carried on with him into adulthood.
So you've taught him a lesson, really?
Absolutely. Like, he's taught himself a lesson. I've not done it. Yeah. I've given him the tools, but he's really fucked it up. So, like, to be clear, do not regret that. I would go back and do that again, because, frankly, more people just need to know what they're capable of. And I think there's nothing quite like the floor come into your face.
It's painful, isn't it?
Max speed to remind you that you can't do everything, and that is okay. Like, it is fine not to be able to do everything. You know what I mean? I look at some people and I'm like, yo, I can't do that, and that's okay. Like, Could I do it? Maybe if I tried. Like I think I could try it and do any. I think I could do anything if I tried hard enough. You know, like I think we've all got that capability. But like I think to look at somebody and be like, oh, you've done this for years. It's the typical man thing. It is. It's to be like, oh, I see you've worked hard on this skill for the last 5 years. I could fucking do that in the afternoon. Give me my hold my beer. It's like, no, you can't. And I would say I'm almost proud that I taught him that. Yeah. So no, I don't regret things. I don't regret that. I don't particularly regret things in general. So I don't know. I think I don't necessarily conform to the idea of regret. I think it's dumb. There's things that I wish I didn't do. I wouldn't say I regret them. Like I just don't. I think everything that you've done, whether it be good, bad, or just the typical debauchery. Like, I think they all inform who you are as a person today. I don't think I'm a bad person today, so why would I regret anything? Like, there's things that have happened in my life where I'm like, I could have handled that better, for sure. Or I could have not done that. I could have done this a different way. But I don't lose sleep over them. I don't think I've done anything that bad. Like, so, I don't know. No, I don't particularly regret anything. There's no point in doing so. I've said some sketchy shit over the years to some people. I've definitely upset some people over the years, and I guess I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sorry for that. But ultimately, I am who I am today. So, and I like who I am today. So I don't regret things. No, there's no point. I haven't got time for that. Also, I don't sleep enough as it is, man. I can't imagine. Actually, no, I've been sleeping really good recently for the first time in years. But usually I don't. So I haven't got time to stay up at night thinking about shit.
Do you slow down? You seem quite busy.
Oh, no, actually, I've been quite not busy. The last 2 months, which has been great. Like, during term time now, I'm probably going to be substantially busier. But, like, out of term time. Not that I'm in school. I just teach following a school
so you're
schedule.
Freelance, right?
Yeah. Completely self-employed. Yeah, which is great. Love taxes. Unironically love taxes, but I love doing my taxes. But outside of that, no. I've been not that busy over the summer, to be fair. I've been working like 4 days a week and not really doing much else. We've been on holiday. I've taken some time for myself, and that's been nice. So yeah, no, I do slow down. It's finding the motivation to start back up again that I struggle with. But
so you mentioned taxes there. But what's it like being self-employed? Like, I have no clue, and I'm really interested in it.
It's better than being on PAYE, I guess. I mean, taxes. The great lie is that taxes are hard, right? Most people are like, being self-employed is difficult because you have to have an accountant. You don't have to have an accountant. You could literally do it with like a GCSE in maths. It's not difficult. It's just like a little bit of reading and a lot of hoping that you don't get audited.
A lot of hope.
But no, it's really simple. I mean, the only downside is that you obviously pay for everything up front and then you get paid back later, or it comes out of your tax. But like, being able to work for yourself or go anywhere and work with lots of different people all over the place is, I think, a good thing. It's not for everyone, and it's not consistent. It's stressful. Both me and my partner are self-employed. So there is definitely stresses to it, and there's things you can't do. Like, if you were to get like a mortgage, you'd need such a good self-assessment, like loads of them as well. Like, even just moving into a flat, like, they wanted just shy of our blood type. You know what I mean? They wanted to know what colour my morning shit was. Like, they were well up our asses. Like, that is the downside to it. But other than that, you pay less tax, you pay less national insurance. You can write off so much stuff. There's like so many things that are business expenses. And I'd love to be like, like, no, fuck it. The government are doing so much shit anyway. See the stuff they write out? I had to stay in this 5-star hotel. No, you didn't. But you did. So it's a business expense, it's like, it's a creative way to pay less tax. That's what I think being self-employed is as a whole. And it's perfectly legal. I'm not saying I'm doing, to be clear, not saying I'm doing anything illegal. I'm just saying that it's like, you can write off so much shit that you just can't, as if you're on PAYE, you know what I mean? Like, if you're travelling to work on PAYE, you can't write that off. You're shafted. If you commute to London, for example, and you're on PAYE, from here, it's like, what, 500 to probably like £800 a month now?
Probably, yeah.
Whereas if that was like not permanent places of work and you're self-employed, that is off your tax.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the
It's all
clothes that you wear.
expenses.
For like me, for example, like my taxes, I teach dance, acrobatics, whatever else in between, life coaching skills. I'm joking, I don't do that. But I mean, like, joggers. I always wear joggers all of the time. And that makes sense for teaching. So joggers, shoes, socks, anything like that, they'll all get written off. So it just makes your life cheaper in one regard, but more expensive in the upfront. It's good. I enjoy it.
And not from a tax perspective, you mentioned it's stressful. Like, do you keep on top of it? Do you always have work? Are you worried about money? Like, what?
Are you always going to be worried about money? Everyone's always worried about money. Like, the more you get, I'm getting paid the most per hour I've ever been paid in my life right now. Yeah, and you still worry about money, you know, like, because the last 2 months have not really worked, you know. I mean, I've worked, but like not as much, and not in jobs that pay me as much as they usually do. So it's like your wages drop. So through some points throughout the year, you know, you could reasonably, like, you could make over £1,000 in like 4 days, 3-4 days, and then through other points of the year, you'll make £1,000 a month, you know. So it's like it's a balance for sure. So like, some people be like, oh, he's doing so well, he must be earning loads of money, and it's like, yeah, at some points in the year for sure, at some points in the year I'm like, I'm a fucking baller, but at the other points of the year I'm not. But at any point in that year, if you think about it logically, I'm not a baller, because that's going to be spread out throughout the year,
Through the whole 12.
but I'm just bad at that.
What, spreading it out?
Yeah, absolutely. That's just skill. That's a skill in itself I'm still trying to work out. But I mean, it's...
Are you a bit of an impulse spender? Or buyer, rather?
Yes and no. Mine's usually food.
That's an essential to life.
No, it's not. Because,
to life, yeah.
No, it's an essential to life, yeah. But like, when we've
not
just got
the food you're getting.
Yeah, when we got shopping the day before, and I'm like, oh, I could have made sandwiches, but I've just bought like 10 quid in meal deals. You know, it's like, and you do that like 15 to 20 days a month. That adds up really fast.
Yeah, it
and
does.
then you're like, oh, where did my money go? And it's like, oh yeah, I spent like £200 on fucking meal deals. You know, it's like, there it is. So no, that's the kind of stuff that I'm not a buyer of things so much. I'm more a buyer of food, I'd say. Occasionally I do flat out just impulse buy things.
Yeah,
but like,
mainly consumables.
yeah,
you get
foods. Yeah, I did impulse buy the TV as well, but I mean, that was essential because our room was big.
If that's what you have to tell yourself.
At the time, at the time, it definitely made sense at the time.
I
did. Our room was like, the ceilings were like 17 foot tall or something. It was wild.
Yeah.
So like, that made sense. And also, this TV, I don't regret that. That's fine. Did it make life hard for a little bit? Yes, but it's fine. I've grown since then, you know. So, but no, right now it's food, and the main thing I'm struggling with, like, financially right now, is just like, again, because I've had just like 2 months off and not been paid much, and we've just moved house, and we've had to pay double rent because, again, self-employed means you can't really get a property when you want, so we had to pay rent twice across 2 places. A lot of bollocks. But that means now I can't take certain jobs because it's like, oh, I'm gonna have to pay. Say this month, for example, there's some work that I'm gonna have to turn down, or even next month. It's like, say I work 10 days of that month, right? Let's hypothetically, I'm only working 10 days in the month. That 10 days for the month is, say I'm getting between £200 to £300. So let's round up, say it's £3,000 for the 10 days of work. Great. But then the petrol to each of them is £75. So I have to spend 750 quid in the next month to work them 10 days, which I do not have right now. So it's like, I've really got to like try and work out how to do that, you know, do it from a dead stop of being like, oh, I'm just coasting and the money's running out. But it's like, it's paid for a lot of things and it's working, but then it's like, oh, you jump back into work and you're like, oh no, I can't afford to work anymore. So that's the one downside, I'd say.
The cash flow can be difficult sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, I don't think there's a better way to manage it, because if you look at just the way the work dips off, like March, work starts to dip off because of exam terms and stuff like that in unis. So your workflow starts to decrease, and then you've got from like March till September, if you think about it that way. Where, don't get me wrong, between like March and September, there will be months where I've earned a lot. But you can't guarantee them months, and you can't guarantee you're going to be somewhere that you're going to earn a lot. So it's like, it's really hard to make money last from March till September. Like, because there's going to be expenses that come up, whether it be a car break-in, in my case, or, I don't know, something in the house falling off. Like, or now we've just moved into this place and the landlord doesn't want to fix the fucking cooker. So we've got to either get a new cooker or repair that cooker. That's an expense that is, it's not foreseen. It's just like,
like,
unforeseen expenses factor in a lot into being self-employed. It can be like a make or break you situation. That's the issue. At least with PAYE, you might get paid less and you might pay more tax. But each month, you've got, what, 1,800, 2,000 pounds in your bank, and you're like, oh, I can budget that over the month. You've been paid once. I get paid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6, 7 times a month.
Whenever you invoice, right? I guess.
Literally. And sometimes it'll be like a month and a half ahead. Sometimes it'll be a month ahead. Sometimes it'll be 2 months. It doesn't matter. And then it's different for Ruby as well. So it's like, yeah.
How do you think you kind of adapted? So obviously you've said right at the start, you said over the past 6 months, everything's kind of gone into action.
Yeah.
But how do you think that the cost of living crisis that we're in is like, do you think that's like had a major effect, or do you think that even if we weren't in this cost of living crisis, you'd still be kind of not in exactly the same, but like a similar position of like being paid loads here?
No, the cost of living crisis definitely shafted it. I mean, you got the higher interest rates on credit. Just the general price of food has doubled. Let's not even pretend.
It's kind of wild, yeah.
It has. Like, when I first moved out, £20 would last me a week of food. Now we're spending like £100 a week.
Yep.
And it's like, what the fuck's that about? So that's definitely made issues worse. Then you've got the fuel bills. Like, I don't necessarily mean petrol, but that also went up loads. There's a point where it was near enough £2 a litre. Like,
yeah.
and I was working, like, driving. That's worst case scenario. Because, yes, your petrol's gone up £2 a litre, but what the companies are paying you did not go up to meet that. So exactly, then you're spending more on travel than you're getting back. It's like, there's that. And then, it's been a shaft. Felt the cold, long, hard dick of the, the cost of living crisis for sure. So that's not ideal.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do the next couple of months look like for you?
I don't know. I have no idea. A lot of work. I know that much. I'm going to be probably teaching in unis again, doing a lot of workshops, probably a lot of like conventions, I guess. But like, I don't know.
You said before we started recording that you've kind of almost got work booked until February, March kind of time.
Yeah, there's things that are already in place. Yeah.
So how do you do that?
I just literally just get a message.
Drop a message.
Like, no,
they message you.
Yeah, I just get a message being like, "Yo, you want to do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Because things have got to be planned ahead. Like, so, like in March, I think it's March, February, it's Move It, for example.
Yeah.
So, like, I literally got a message the other day being like, "Yo, Move It are already asking for things. Are you doing Move It?" I'm like, "Yeah, fine, I'll do Move It." It's like it's a 3-day weekend. I got to go away for the week. The weekend, 4 days, whatever. It'd be nice, but I'll know months ahead. So it's usually like that. But I mean, the weekly stuff I don't particularly know so much about. Like, I'm sure I'm working this week. I have no idea when it is. I know I am working. I know I've got work tomorrow. I know I've got work Thursday. Maybe I might be in Northampton on Saturday. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. I know I'm meant to be in Swindon on Monday. That's not happening now. But I mean, I was meant to be. It's like that kind of stuff changes. I get lots of messages being like, "Yo, you want to do this?" I mean, I could do more to reach out and be like, "Yo, can I do this?" But right now it's taken over quite well, to be fair. I'm just sitting back and being like, people go, "You want to work?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So that's not that stressful, but it does mean my job changes all the time. I never work in the same place, ever, really. I am starting to work in the same place, actually. But I mean, that's just for Fridays, so that's fine. I don't know when that starts either. I know it starts soon, but I don't know when. I hope it's not this Friday. Yeah.
It can't start this Friday,
I can't start this Friday. Next Friday I can start, but I mean, other than that, I don't know. that's a long day as well, which is it's gonna be a slog. Yeah, that's gonna be like, I don't know. I gotta drive there, so I gotta do like a 3-hour drive, 3.5-hour drive. Then I start at 11:30. I finish at like 8 in the night.
Will you drive back?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's gonna be like a solid like block of a day, you know. It's probably gonna be again about 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 hours. Depends.
That's
really
crazy. That's wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we kind of stretch the timeline out a bit further, would you see yourself in like 5 years? Maybe, screw it, 10.
I'm gonna have a dance empire. No, I have no idea. I actually have no idea. If I look at things objectively right now, look at my earning potential, these are all boring things, but like if I look at my earning potential, the amount of work I'm doing, that's probably going to continue to increase. And I look at some other people in my industry and I know what they're getting paid, and they're getting, I mean, I wouldn't sleep at night well if I was getting paid what they were, but at the same time, I know that my earning potential is a lot better than what it is now. Like I will definitely continue to earn more and work more, or work less and earn more. That's the goal, right? The goal is to get £600 a day and work 3 days a week. That is the goal. Mm-hmm. So in 10 years, my goal is to work like 3 days a week and just earn like, I don't know, £1,800 a week. That'd be nice. That is the goal. We'll see. We will see. Maybe even more. I know some dudes, right? Like the other day I was baffled. I'm not going to mention any names, but me and a colleague of mine were chatting about this person in our industry. Not necessarily great at what they do, right? And I mean, they're really good at being out there, but they're not necessarily great at what they do. And they're getting paid like £250 an hour. And I'm like, yo, I've got, if not, more valid experience than that. And I could be doing that. I wouldn't do that, by the way. I don't think I deserve, not being like, I'm not going to sell myself short here, but I don't think what I do is worth £250 an hour at all. That is a hard sell. Like, I could not walk up to someone with a straight face and be like, £250 an hour plus travel.
That's a bold statement.
That is. And this person is like doing like 6-7 hour days, £250 an hour plus travel. And I'm like, that's 1 day a month. That's 2 days a month, and you're okay. You're laughing all the way to the bank. But they probably price themselves out a lot as well. It depends how you want to sit, right? It's kind of like you price yourself out of some people, price yourself into another group of people. You'll work less days, but you'll get paid more. It's like, I don't know. Also, I just believe that everyone should have like affordable access to training. So it's like, I feel bad. Like at the same time, I need to earn a wage, right? But if I'm doing stuff for myself, then typically I don't charge anywhere near what I get paid from a commercial standpoint. From a commercial standpoint, I get paid great. I mean, I'm really lucky for my industry. Like, I mean, most of the people I know in my industry aren't getting paid anywhere near what I am for the same job, which is one, I think, sad, but also dumb. Because not dumb for them, but like they should be getting paid more. Is what I'm saying. Like people should be paying them more, but they're not. But then on the flip side, like I couldn't just charge someone like 250 quid for an hour. Man, it's so wild. Like actually wild. I don't know. I mean, it's catering for the rich, really, isn't it? Which is fine. I feel like there's obviously a market for that if you're just catering for that. But on the same side, you've got to do something for free. Like my Instagram stuff, I do that for free, more or less. You know, it's like. I mean, it gets me work, so let's not pretend it's like a symbiosis, right? I do this thing for free and I get work from it. It works out good for me. But it keeps that service free, which means people can go see it. They can go learn from it. It's a learning tool, essentially. But like people that are doing this aren't doing any of that. They're not giving anything back. And I'm like, yo, like why? You know, like how can you feel like, oh, I'm a positive force for this community of people, but at the same time just raping it almost, you know,
from like a monetary point,
taking all of that money from it, and it's not going back in. You're not doing anything good for all of the people that need it. You're only doing stuff that is good to further yourself, and I think that is shit. But no, in 10 years I'd like to be earning more, doing less. That's the goal, right? Maybe a house, maybe a kid, who knows. Maybe I'm 31, might have kids, might not have kids, I don't particularly care, but like that. And I don't want to like earn like more and work less, because I still want to work. I just want more time to feed into things that I want to do. You know, I keep making videos for people. I want people to have access to things for free. But that means that I've got to get paid obscene amounts of money from somewhere else, right? It's either I go the route of I'm going to live this lifestyle of not earning anything and struggling so everyone else can benefit from me, or I'm earning a lot in one place so everyone else can benefit from me. That is, I think, in my head, the most sustainable way to do something, right? So I've got to build up to a place where I can justify what I do for an obscene amount of money for a short amount of time, so I have all of the time to give to something else. That is my thoughts anyway. So,
and for someone who is in this industry, or kind of in your industry, so I have similar qualifications to you in kind of the dancing sector, at least. Like, I would be personally really worried about like the sustainability of me being able to live. How have you got over that?
I work in the commercial sector. That's how I got over there.
Okay.
Everything I do is private, so it's not like I obviously, like, if we're looking at dancers' wages versus my wages, I definitely get paid more than what a dancer does for a day. If I'm doing actually on a day rate, probably similar, but hourly, I'm definitely pulling way more than they. And I often work hourly, so it's like, I'm not saying that hourly I earn more, but we earn the same on a day. No, like, I get paid I get definitely paid more. That's not bragging, it's just I do. But I also work in a private industry that's not reliant on, say, Arts Council funding. Like, if you were a project dancer, my partner works projects, and that's reliant on a lot of funding applications, and then you working for a company, so that can be brief stints where you get paid a good wedge. Whereas I work in a commercial sector, there's always people to pay you, right? There's always people that want a service, so that's how I do it. I also don't particularly enjoy performance, so I get offered performance stuff occasionally, but I'm like, I have no interest. But it's all private on my half, so I get paid like a private contractor. It's different. Also really inaccessible. I don't think most people can do that. So that's the one thing, right? It's like, you either do these passion projects and you get paid in short bursts and then have to struggle for periods and constantly looking for work, or you do what I do, which is private, and it ticks over better. It's just the way it works, I guess. Yeah. My business relies on companies not failing, essentially, if you think of it that way. Whereas, and their funding's coming directly from people and products, right? So it's like capitalism. It is.
Yeah.
Whereas other dancers are relying on funding or their idea going well or any help from any external source, and you might be doing stuff for free. It's different. Also, we got to understand that it's a world of clout, right? And you're as much as this is dumb. So, like, my earning potential has jumped up, like, it's doubled, if not tripled, in some cases, over the last year, because I have clout. That's social media clout. The second you get into them, like, the tens of thousands of followers, or even the 40, 50, 60,000, like, people are like, oh, you're worth more now.
Yeah, you're socially validated.
Yeah, socially validated. It's like, I'm worth more now because you have access to an account that's got 50, 60k followers, or like whatever that is, and that increases your wage. Most people will never have access to that. Most people could, but most people don't, right? So they're going to be stuck in a different bracket, and it's only going to be like how good they are or something that's going to impact. Like, I know so many people that don't have that following that are doing really well because they are some of the sickest people you've seen on the planet, right? But that's unattainable. That's equally as unattainable as the way I've done it. Because sickest people on the planet, social media clout, they're both completely polar opposite ends. It's not me saying that I'm not good at things. I'm good at things. But, like, I'm not the best in the world at all. I've got a wealth of knowledge, which makes me a valuable tool, and that's something I can sell online. That's great. Some people are just fantastic at what they do, don't necessarily have an interest in this side, so they stay more there, I stay more here, we don't clash. They're getting paid, I'm getting paid. Then you've got the middle, which aren't the best, don't have clout. How do they live? who the fuck knows? It's so hard. It's really hard. I wouldn't like to be in that situation. Like, I was in that situation, like, going back, like, a few years, you know? It's, like, it's difficult to find that work, that consistent, steady flow. Or even just get paid what you're worth. I mean, the amount of hours you put into something to get money back is difficult, man. I think it is. It is unnerving, I think, to be fair. I wouldn't like to be necessarily in that situation. It's a gamble. You got to weigh it up, right? Is it, how much do you care about this thing? Is your happiness pegged on you doing things that you enjoy, or do you just want to grind something else? Like, they're both equal amounts of grind, right? I think it's better to be happy and poor than comfortable
and not so happy.
Yeah, no, just comfortable. I think comfortable is not a good place to be. I think being comfortable is wrong. I'm not wrong. I mean, people can enjoy being comfortable, but whatever. But does comfortable make you really happy? Because it doesn't make me happy. Like, I've been comfortable in jobs where I'm earning, like, enough for me to live, and all of my needs are met. And it's the most miserable I've ever fucking been. Like, I've just been there like, oh, I hate my life. I hate that I'm not doing things that I want to do. And now I'm, like, poor, I guess, objectively poor right now. In some regards, I mean, in a lot of regards, I'm really rich too. I don't necessarily mean money there, but I don't know. I'm happier this way, for sure. I think more people would be as well. It's just, you've got a lot of social pressures being like, oh, you should be this way, or you should be doing this thing, you should be hitting these goals. Fuck it. Fuck it all.
So if you had advice for some people then, so either people in that middle bracket where they don't have the social media clout, and they're not the best at what they do, or just people in like a standard 9 to 5 that have got this kind of, I use the term golden handcuffs almost, like they're getting paid well but they're not necessarily happy. Like, what would you say for them to do to kind of be happy?
Well, it's assuming they're unhappy, right?
True.
But some people are really happy like that, you know. Some people live for that, and that is completely fine. If you're not one of them people, though, and you're unhappy and you want to do something, just do it. Like, you just I mean, yeah, no, just actually do it. Like, what's the harm? You know what I mean? You fail, so what does that mean? You know, what does failure mean? You decide when you fail at something. Nobody else does, right? Like, so if you start something and it's not going well, you're still doing something. You've not failed until you finish that thing. You've finished it in your head and you've gone, oh no, that didn't go well. You know? So just try. There's no harm in trying. Also, fuck people. Don't care about what anyone thinks or says. It doesn't matter. None of it's relevant.
Do you think we care too much?
People care way too much about things. So much about things, man. Like, why care? Like, what is the point? I honestly do not understand that. I have never give a single flying fuck about what someone else thought. I mean, there's times where, like, no, I'm not going to backtrack on that. No, I don't. I really don't care. I just don't. Like, what's somebody going to say to me that I don't know? Like, oh, you did this bad. Yeah, I'm aware. You know what I mean? Cool. I'm going to do it better next time. Fuck you. It doesn't matter. Like, none of it matters. It's, why care? Or being like, oh, this person's so cringe they're doing this thing. And it's like, what are you fucking doing? Why does it matter? Like, why do people's words or opinions have weight on you? I don't think they should. I don't think they should. I mean, don't get me, like, there's things, like, in general life, like, I'm not talking about you necessarily what you do, but like in life where people you love are like, oh, you probably shouldn't do that, then yeah, maybe put some more weight into that. But like, largely about how you're seen in the world and how you're doing things. Fuck everybody, fuck their opinions. It is your life. Live it how you want to live it. And if that's not cool with someone else, fuck them too. They can fuck off. Like, as far as I'm concerned, if somebody's not there for your rise, they can and not necessarily rise. If somebody's just not there, if somebody is there as a negative force in your life, fuck them, send them somewhere else. They don't need to be there. Cut thought, get people out, you know? That's the... Yeah, no, it works. I think that's just my mentality. I've never cared about people's thoughts or opinions. And it does me well.
Do you... It sounds like you, just from how I'm listening there, do you like audit your friends almost?
No, not really.
Okay.
My friends are great. I don't have many friends though. I have no, I say that. I have lots of friends, but my friends are all very close friends, and that's it. I say lots of friends. I don't. What's lots of friends? Some people have like 1 or 2 friends. I've got like I've got a group of friends. They're my best friends in the entire world, and I could trust them all equally. And they don't care about what I do. They care that I'm alive and happy and healthy, but they don't care how I'm doing it. You know what I mean? They'll always support me, even if it's dumb. They'll be like, "Yeah, that's a great idea." Well, they're not yes men for sure. Like, not somebody that's gonna. They'll tell me if it's dumb, but they'll help me do something dumb, and that's what you want, right? You want people around you.
They're like your actual friends.
Yeah,
they're not just there for your fame or whatever it be.
Exact fame is a weird word. I definitely don't have fame yet, but
So, your clout.
My clout, yeah, it's clout, man. It's that social media clout. It's so annoying. I hate this. It's disgusting.
It's a really bad word.
I actually hate it. Like, I hate it all. Despise it. Like, absolutely despise it. But yeah, no, just pick good friends, man. And if they're not there to do dumb things with you, like, if your friend is not in the jail cell next to you, are they your friend? You know?
That's a valid point.
Yeah. Like, both do the dumb things. Like, facilitate each other's creativity. I think that's the goal, right? You need friends that facilitate you, and you facilitate. Like, or just friends that you work together and it works out good. I think that's all you need. I don't think you should care about anyone else's opinions or what they are, or senior politicians saying that your degree's a dumb degree and they're going to cancel them. Fuck them too. What's he doing? Oh, I mean, he's not our prime minister anymore, but he can suck my dick too. Like, sorry, this is not going to do well on YouTube. I'm so mad. But, like, it's true, man. Like, what are they saying? Like, oh, you can't earn money if you do this degree. Well, I can tell you can, and I can tell you you're wrong. Like, go away. Like, it makes no sense. I mean, I'm sure the maths on it's quite bad, but, like, it doesn't matter. None of it matters. Just enjoy yourself. Do what you got to do. Have fun. And, yeah, die happy and old.
You mentioned being happy just then, and you also mentioned a little bit ago about being happy and poor as opposed to comfortable.
Yeah.
Are you happy?
Right now?
Yeah.
For sure. I would say, yeah, I'm not particularly unhappy. I wouldn't say I'm, like, jumping from the rafters happy, but, like, I don't know. I would say I'm, as a person as a whole, I said negative earlier. I think negative suits it, but I'm more apathetic to pretty much everything in life. I'd say my base level for things is apathy. And I think apathy is a nice place to be. For me, anyway. I don't know. I don't care. I mean, I'm doing what I'm doing, and I like it. And nothing else around that I particularly care about. So, yeah.
You got your own little bubble.
Exactly. It's my own little slice of the world, right? And I enjoy that slice of the world. So anyone's thoughts or opinions on that or anything like that doesn't particularly bother me. And that keeps me somewhat happy, I guess. I'm like, I don't know, happy neutral. You know what I mean? Like, in that bracket. That's fine. I think you can always be happier, right? You can always be sadder as well, but, like, I'm happy. I would say I'm more happy. I'd say I'm a 6 on a scale of 10. 6.5 maybe. But that's okay. That's better than being like a 3, which is, like, miserable. So, yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah. No, for sure. It's a good place to be.
Thanks, Dan.
You're welcome.